Testing, testing, la la la. Hi guys. So I'm back with my, as promised, once a year video update about my infusions on rituximab for multiple sclerosis. Now, I'm much better this year, probably mentally, emotionally. To recap the situation, I had MS. I was diagnosed in 2013 and I chose not to go on treatment. But 11 years down the line, I had a flare-up that stopped me dancing because I'm a trained Kathak dancer. It affected my leg a little bit, but I knew what it was. And so I decided that it was time to get checked out for a flare-up, and sure enough it turned out. And then I met the nicest neurologist I have met in all my life and got guided towards what would be best for me given my lifestyle, given how I live, a very mobile and active life. So here I am after my second rituximab infusion has completed. Is it easy? I don't think so. I don't think there's a very certain answer there, because when you're not undergoing your visits to the hospital or your treatments, life feels fine, and that is why I, as an individual, picked rituximab for my treatments. However, when one has to come back to doing their lab tests and the repeat MRIs, it does get a bit daunting, but I have always tried to stay as positive as possible. Now, that being said, it's not always something that you have to be strong about. You're allowed to have your weak moments. I have faced people around me telling me, oh no, but don't cry, but don't feel bad about it because stress is bad for you. And, from their point of view and their concern for me, I can actually understand that, because that's also probably what goes around in my head when I'm thinking, okay, here I am crying about my condition or my diagnosis, feeling helpless or also hopeful, but also trying not to stress out. And boom, I'm confused. So my simple answer to that is that you shouldn't always look at your tears or your emotions as a negative. It is also something your body is trying to release, it's trying to get out of itself. So I'm all for the crying and I'm all for seeking help. Being a psychotherapist myself, that's no surprise. I fully support people who think that going to a therapist is a good idea, because it actually is. Fun fact, we as therapists are also supposed to have a designated therapist that we head to at least once in every few months for the sake of sanity preservation. Even therapists are supposed to see other therapists. Anyway, I love that I can come out here and reach out to more people who feel stuck on this journey. And I want to tell you, there are a few simple things that you need to know. You need to feel confident with your doctor. You need to have a positive attitude about testing, and I will elaborate on that a little later. You need to sustain hope, and you need to also leave it in the hands of something that you believe is bigger than yourself. Now, whether that's the universe, whether you call it God, whether it's your dog called Johnny, guess what? What helps us MS patients is to disconnect from stress in a way where we will acknowledge that there is something greater than us out there, and it's going to look out for us. Not to say that I am giving you the license to be absolutely careless with your life, with your mindset, with your health, but you know what I mean, catch my drift. Now, in one of my previous videos, I also mentioned that I want to help you prepare for your infusions. So a good idea is to pick out your outfit the previous day. So here's how I do it. The day before, I will pick out a nice snazzy outfit so that I don't fit in with the crowd at the hospital that normally looks very dull. I personally do this on purpose because when I see dullness around me or a serious atmosphere around me, I at least have myself looking all glammed up so that I can feel cheery. And lucky for me, even the nurses that I meet in the ward where I get treated are of similar opinion. Number two, the night before, you need to decide what is it that you want to kill 4 hours with. If you're anything like me, the sedatives are not going to last for too long, and you want things to do. So maybe pick a book, maybe download a movie on your iPad or your phone, whatever's light to carry. I'm always tempted to carry my laptop anywhere. I have a big one and I have a tiny one, and the tiny one is very tempting to just, lug all around the place with me. But I decided to keep it simple today. So yeah, that brings me to number 3. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate your planning for this, because if you're even slightly type A, you're going to want to do that. So my suggestion there is to just take the few things that are going to bring you comfort. If you have a stole that you like having around you because it gets a little cold in there, take that with you. If you have a cuddly toy, because I did for the longest time, you can take that with you too. There aren't any restrictions as such in my hospital where I get treated. It's literally called my hospital, by the way. So there aren't any restrictions in that hospital. As for the kind of food that you can bring in, I take my own salad and I make myself a cup of coffee, and then I'm cheery. In your bag, you might want to pack something to moisturize your lips with. I have experienced that the rituximab leaves me feeling a little dry on the lips, or maybe that's because I'm not actively drinking as much water. Which brings me to another point. If reading is not your thing, then I would recommend that you take something audio with you to listen to, preferably positive, something that doesn't generate a lot of anxiety or thinking. Something as simple as a grounding meditation or something with affirmations or gratitude works very well. I will link down below 3 of my most favorite meditations that I also recommend to my clients in therapy when I see fit. Why this works is because when the antihistamines along with the sedatives kick in, you will uncontrollably feel a little sleepy, a little drowsy. So it's nice to have something playing in your ear that isn't too disturbing so that you don't wake up with a start. At least that's what I can share with you as per my personal experiences. So don't forget to check out the links down below. The most important thing that we overlook when we are anxious about hospital appointments is our own nutrition. So I would say that if you've been given a time slot where you can find time to fill your tummy, have a delicious, nutritious breakfast in the morning before you leave, take your time to get ready, and keep in mind that you are doing this for your body to have a chance at fighting something that wasn't really your fault, was it? We can draw a lot of theories, which I love to do, around how it started, why it happened, what makes it worse, and that's all very good. But when you are in the moment of dealing with your treatments, I would suggest drop all of that and center in on how you feel, how you want to feel. I will, again, while saying this to you, tell you that it's okay if you're not feeling it all the way, but sometimes we really do need to give ourselves a little bit of a push, and I promise you that it goes a long way. Lastly, and most importantly, like I will for the rest of my life preach, please find a doctor that you can trust. Find a doctor that makes you feel safe, that makes you feel like you're not just another statistic. Find a doctor who you can go to with all your queries. And I know that that doesn't always happen, but what I will tell you is that you do not settle. Because when you are deciding to trust a specialized medical professional with your body, with your future, it better be someone who doesn't make you doubt what your decision is. Anyway, so that was a little bit of sharing and tips from me after my second year of rituximab infusions. I'm counting it as my second year. I do not get these every month. Again, I get them every 6 to 7 months, 2 weeks apart, and boom, done. I don't have to think about it for the next 6 months at least, other than just taking basic care of myself like any normal human being. I am very thankful to God that I am blessed enough to have these privileges. I am very thankful to God that I lead an able life, and I try as much as I can to celebrate it because I understand the value of it the more that every year passes. Sending you all lots of love, and please shoot away with any queries that you have down below in the comment section. Hit subscribe if you feel like you want to hear more from me and see me regularly on this channel. Ciao.